Hey everybody, welcome to PowerPoint. I just wanted to give you a couple little things that can help you when you work with PowerPoint. PowerPoint's fun. It's a lot of drawing and things of that nature. But just like any other software program, it takes a little while to learn. Couple things here. Right off the bat, these are called placeholders. If you do not type anything in here, when you show the slide, you won't see it. But in this view is called slide view. In slide view, you will still see the placeholder, which kind of throws people. So for example, if this title, here I don't put anything. Now, if I was to run this as a show with the show button down here, you see there's the title, but nothing else. That's because this is a placeholder. It's not shown. If you did not want that there, if it throws you off when you're working, you could simply click on the edge of it and hit delete. Done. If you need to bring it back, under here, there's a button called reset. First few buttons in the upper left. If you hit reset, it puts the slide back to the way it was originally built. So if I make a new slide, by the way, when you make a new slide, the default is a bulleted list. That's what this is. It's called a bulleted list. Why? Because there's bullets here. But these little guys here let you turn this into a different kind of slide. Like maybe I want to insert a table in here, or I want to put a video, all these different things. But a simple bulleted list, we're just going to stick with. Bulleted list. Couple really simple things. So if I do 1, 2, 3, when you hit enter, it always makes a bullet on the next line at the same level. If I want to move it in, called emoting, A, B, C, hit the tab key, 1, 2. You see how it keeps moving in. But if I want to promote it, it's shift tab and it goes backward. See, now I can go 4. So that's how you promote and demote in a bulleted list. It's tab to move to demote, shift tab promotes. Now, a couple things I want to show you here is, let me just click off of this so I'm not highlighting anything. It's up here, all these wonderful shapes. I'm going to show you some tricks you can do with the shapes. Like for example, this is an oval. Why is it not called a circle? Looks like a circle to me. Because if I click on it and come on here and click and drag, you notice it's not a circle, that's an oval. So it wasn't lying to me. If you need to make a perfect shape, meaning a circle or a square, not an oval or a rectangle, what you can do, so I click on my oval, I hold my shift key down while I'm clicking and dragging. And then no matter how I drag my mouse, as long as I let go of the mouse first, I make a perfect shape. That's a circle. Can you do it without holding the shift? Yeah, you can come pretty close, but it won't be perfect unless you have a really amazing eye. Some other shapes, like here's the rectangle. That's a rectangle, but if I go back here, back to home, and I hold my shift key down when I'm doing this, it becomes a perfect square. Now, what's this swirly thing above them? The swirly thing is if you grab it, you can rotate it, spin it around like that. Now, if I hold my shift key when I do that, it keeps it at perfect increments, or in other words, every 15 degrees. And it will keep it. Otherwise, it's completely free flowing. You can do 360 degrees here. You can have it at a weird angle if you want. And the way you get rid of something is just click on and hit delete. Done. If you need to change the way this looks, you right click on it and choose format shape at the bottom. The other option is up here. When I make a shape, let me close this for a moment. When I'm going to just delete this and I'm going to start it again. When I make a shape, look, see my toolbar up here? I'm going to make let's pick a different shape here. Let's pick something funky. So there's a whole bunch of shapes to pick from. Let's do a smiley face. They're always fun to work with. So I'm going to hold my shift key down. It makes a perfectly shaped smiley face. Aren't smiley faces supposed to be yellow? Not blue. So look here. You see up here, a whole toolbar appeared that lets me edit the shape. If I click off of it, like here, the toolbar disappears. But if I click back on it, the toolbar appears. Personally, what I like to do is I like to right click and choose format shape. It just brings this over here. And I can do things like change the fill. For example, I want to make it yellow fill. There we go. Now it's a happy, smiley face. I could change the line color. I could say no line if I wanted to. Kind of looks weird now because I don't have a smile anymore. So I'm going to do solid line. Some of these shapes, by the way, when I click on a shape, you have these circles, whatever you want to call them. There are circles, but these change the way the shape looks. I'm gonna undo that. If I hold my shift key down once again, it makes the shape, keeps it in perfect perspective to each other. Oh, sorry, I fumpered there a little bit. Now, this we saw was the swirly. It rotates. These change the shape. If you don't hold the shift key down, you're going to mutate the shape. But there's one more. Some shapes have this other little one, a little circle here. Used to be a diamond. And what does that do? This is certain shapes. You can change the original shape. So here, I can make it a frowny face, or I can make it a nothing face, just like that. How does it affect other shapes? Like, for example, here, let's grab another shape. I know there's another one that does some funky stuff. Here, the plus. I'm going to hold the shift key down. I'm going to make my plus. You notice the plus has the circle here. Some of them have two, by the way, because so you can mutate them in both directions. So here, if I go like this, see, it makes the plus really thin, or it makes it really fat. If you make it too fat, it turns into a square. If I make it too thin, it turns into just a plus line. So that's what that's for. And once again, over here, if I right click and I choose format shape, this sidebar appears and I can do a whole bunch of different things to it. Let's get rid of it for a moment. Something else, I'm just really only going over this first toolbar because there's a lot of fun things you could do with it. I'm going to make a shape. I'm going to do the triangle. I'm going to do an oval over here. I'm going to change the color of my oval because it doesn't look good. I want it to be a different color. Let's make that green. Not that that looks any better, but let's say you wanted to make a keyhole, an old style keyhole. That's kind of what it looks like, but not quite right. What you can do is you can highlight both of them. This is, by the way, this is called lassoing. When you highlight both, it's called lassoing. If you do not highlight both completely, you see, I didn't highlight either of them completely. It won't highlight. You have to make sure you envelop them completely. Also, when you do this highlight, you got to watch out. You might have a placeholder here. So if I go like this, see, look at my mouse. It's got a little thin plus on it. If I click here, I'm not highlighting anything. I'm moving my bulleted list. So you got to be careful. Remember the undo. But if you wanted to make this a more regular look, like I want to line it all up properly, once you highlight both of them, you choose arrange. And I'm going to choose align centers right here. Boom, it moved it over. That's align set. Now it's perfectly aligned. Also under arrange, I can do things like group together. Like maybe that's my company's logo and I want to make it smaller. If I choose group, it's now one big shape. See, it mutates as one big shape. If I didn't have it grouped, here's what would happen. If I highlighted the whole thing and then I grabbed a corner, see, they mutate. They both change size, but they're not connected anymore. So that's what under arrange you can group things. And grouping things, you don't even have to have them touching. They could be just like this, not touching. You can group them together. I want to show you one other thing from up here, and then we're done. I just want to show you a few cool little tricks here. And that is, you see how the circle is on top of the triangle? What if you wanted it the other way? You'd have to go to arrange, and I'm on the circle, so I'm going to choose send to back. Look, now the circle's behind it. Because the way shapes are, it's like they're like a deck of cards. They're on top of each other. So if I move the circle here, it's behind it. But if I want it to be in front, I could do bring forward. You notice nothing happened. Let me try this again. Let me try bring to front this time. Oh, why did it work this time? Because I might have multiple things here. Bring forward means go one level forward. Bring to front means zoom it all the way to the front. That's the difference. So I showed a couple little things here with playing with the images and arranging and grouping. So hopefully this will help you with your PowerPoint journey.